Hi everybody, Andrew back for another Barista Basics video. Now before I get into today's video, of course I need to make a quick disclaimer that any opinions stated in my videos are my own. I'm not here trying to represent Starbucks or any other corporation or impede on any of these companies' intellectual properties or trademarks. These videos are simply just meant for fun and educational purposes. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into today's video, which is the anatomy of an espresso shot. So if you recall, last week we discussed the difference between coffee and espresso, so I figured it would be smart for us to talk about the product of something we discussed last week, the espresso bean. We are going to discuss the anatomy of the espresso shot. So, of course, I have another cheat sheet here for us with a cute little diagram one of my coworkers drew. And so this is the anatomy of an espresso shot. And so it can be split into 3 different layers. We have the crema, which is the top layer. You can see in the picture it is the lightest in color. We have our middle layer, which is the body. That is the largest component of the shot. And then we have our heart, which you can see on the bottom. Let me try to straighten that a little bit. Our heart, which you can see on the bottom, which is of course the bottom layer. And so I'm going to talk about some details about each one of these. There's not much information for this video, so it's pretty digestible. So let's begin with our top layer, which is the crema. And so this is the lightest in color. It is foamy. The color has been compared to that of a light brown color, almost kind of golden. And this is where the sweetness of our shot can be found, which makes sense because this is where we find our oils, our proteins, and our sugars of the shot. Then moving down, we have our body. This is a little darker in color, kind of a more caramel color to it. But there's not much to say about the body besides that it has a nice color to it and that it makes up the majority of the shot. And then we have our heart, which is the bottom layer. And this, as we can see pictured, is the darkest layer. It has the richest, most dark brown color to it. And this is where the bitterness of our espresso shot is found. And so it's important when utilizing espresso to make sure that you don't let the shots die. And essentially what that means is when you can no longer distinguish the body from the heart. And it all just looks pretty dark, comparable to how the heart looks. And this occurs when you simply just let an espresso shot sit without it coming in contact with any other sort of liquid, like milk or water or syrup or anything. If you just let it sit by itself, then eventually it will grow stale, I guess is a good way to put it, or how it's been described as stale. It also greatly increases the bitterness of the overall, espresso shot. There's not very much sweetness in it. And so if you've ever gotten an espresso beverage that, you know, just doesn't really taste quite right, it's probably because the espresso shot has died. And so that is something important to keep in mind. You want to make sure that you use your espresso shots as soon as they are pulled out of the machine to ensure the best quality and the most freshness for the shot. And that's going to be all for the video. I'll just do a quick little review. We have our crema, the top layer, we have our body, which is the middle layer, and we have our heart, which is the bottom layer. And with that said, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that you guys learned something even more, of course. And I hope that you guys have a nice day. I thank you so much for checking it out. Thank you.